Welcome back. Your boy is back. I was out last week. The bros held it down. Now, me and First Team All Purpose Podcast. I got my co host, Duece James, in the house, aka the chef. I got my guy, Gene, aka Penn Griffey, all that other stuff, whatever you want to call him. We're going to get into some football talk today. If there's any topic you don't feel like we're covering, please let us know. Hit us, subscribe, hit us in the comments. Let us know something you want us to talk about, and we'll get on top of that. We're going to get it popping off the jump. The NFL weekend was a very interesting one. One of the more interesting stories from the NFL was Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, who has been struggling mightily. The team has been struggling mightily. They're 1-5 on the season right now. 1-5, right? 1-6
Yeah.
on the season. Woo, mercy. He went down with an injury during the game on Sunday. Very, very bad injury. It's an Achilles. It's been confirmed he's out for the year. And if you know anything about Achilles injuries, you know that it's career threatening. The interesting part of that is as Deshaun Watson not only went down, but is getting carted off, which Deuce always says, if you're not getting carted off, I don't believe you. You need more people. So Deshaun Watson has the cart coming out. He's in tears. He's bawling. And the Cleveland Browns fans start booing him. They boo him. They essentially, are like almost relieved that this guy is hurt, regardless of how serious it is. And a lot of the Cleveland Browns players took offense to that. What do you guys make of that? Like with Deshaun Watson getting hurt, the fans booing, the team continues to struggle. Eventually, Jameis Winston came in, but they still ended up losing the game. Like, what is next for Cleveland Brown? Like, where do they go from here with Deshaun Watson going down for the year?
And listen, that like you said, that ain't right. What the fans did, booing him as he got hurt. You can see the fans are frustrated with his play, and that the organization, everything. You 1-6, 1-5 at the time. You would be frustrated, but once someone gets hurt and y'all like he's getting off the field, you don't boo the man like James Winston said. You don't kick the man while he's down. Like you said, he was out there every game. It ain't like he quit on you guys. It's just his level of play just wasn't up there yet. His level of play wasn't there. But ain't like James said, it ain't like he quit. He came out there every week, probably in practice, went hard. And you just got to give him a respect at that moment. That's it. He just needs the respect at that moment.
What do you say, Gene?
Man, sports fans are like the weirdest, rudest, unforgiving type of people in this world, man. Like, they'll cheer you one day, the next day, they're shooting you when you're down, bro. So, I mean, going back to you guys' points, like, has he been good in Cleveland? Heck no. He's probably been the worst quarterback the last 2 seasons. Me personally, I wouldn't boo someone, especially when they get injured. I just think that's like tasteless. But what do we really expect from sports fans, right? Like, the worst of the worst people go to live sporting events. We see a fight every week. Somebody gets put in the hospital every week. Beers get thrown. Mind you, these people do this in front of kids too, right? So, like, I mean, at this stage, it is what it is. You feel me?
So this is very, very interesting to me because I saw Chris Canty. I saw his comments this morning talking about people who are coming out to defend Deshaun Watson. I saw, obviously the tweets. LeBron was like, "Yo, this is lame. Y'all can't be booing a man while he's literally like fighting for his career on the field." I saw a lot of different takes. Actually, the best one that I heard was the Cleveland Browns safety, McLeod. If I'm probably McLeod, if I'm saying it correctly. Forgive me if I'm saying it incorrectly. He was just like there's a lot of different things that we might not like about people, but one thing that like universally should kind of like be law is that when somebody is, when somebody's facing the worst of adversity, you don't have to pick them up, but you also shouldn't like you shouldn't stomp on them, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, fans, like you said, Gene, are unable to separate the athletes from the human beings. Like, when you're not performing, fans don't care that that's a man, like that's a regular person. They're just saying he got my team's jersey on and he's stinking it up. F that dude, right?
Yeah.
And what I thought was like to kind of like, contrast to that is, what if that's not what they're doing with Deshaun? What if they're saying, no, we're not looking at the football player Deshaun. We're looking at the man based on all the allegations and all the things, and we're saying, no, we don't like him, right? Forget that he's playing bad. He's playing bad, and we don't like him because he's essentially a bad person based on the allegations that came out. But I'm thinking, to your point, Gene, if Deshaun was balling, I don't think he gets booed.
Yeah.
He's not getting booed. So essentially, it does come down to the athlete and not the person. Because if this same person that we've been told is a creep and all these allegations and all these sexual misconduct things, if he was throwing 3 touchdowns a game and the team was 5-1, they're not booing him. They might be crying in the stands. Not everyone, because there's different people who have different characters and different values. But I can't help but think majority, because even when they traded for him, the fan base was thrilled. They were excited. They thought they were
making
getting
signs and
MVP.
everything.
Exactly. So it's a very unfortunate situation. I'm very torn between it, because you can't not think about all the stuff that we're being told that this man is responsible for. And also just like the human in me is like, damn, like seeing the way I saw him on that field, like crying on that car like a little child. That for me hit like this man is really like, and remember, he lost his father recently. So Deshaun is just going through a lot, like with fans and probably at home, and now his dad passes away. All of that is like accumulation of the worst times probably of his entire life. So I don't know where they go from there, but I do think they should, like, Duece hates this. I think they should tank, draft a quarterback. You got to move on from Deshaun after this season. It's over. It's the relationship is over. I don't even think he wants to be there anymore after what's transpired. You're gonna eat the money anyway. Move on and just like remove that negative connotation over your franchise and just move forward. That's what I think they should.
So you say when y'all say tank, what is the game plan coming into Sunday when people say tank?
So coaches and players don't tank. I'll pass this to you real quick, Jim. Coaches and players don't tank because coaches are coaching for their jobs.
Yeah.
Players are playing for their jobs. Front offices tank. The GM and the owners tank. They start telling you, if this guy's hurt and he's supposed to be out 2 weeks, put him out 4 weeks instead. So we're less likely to win those games that we can win, right?
Okay.
They tell so they're pulling the plugs that like they have the executive decision over. Coaches will never throw games because if they lose, they're going to get canned. You're only going to hire a new coach for the new quarterback coming in. Players, they can't do that because they don't have guaranteed contracts, and teams could move on from them and get another guy to replace them. The front offices start looking like, if we suck bad enough, we can draft, Cam Ward. We can draft this guy. We can draft Shador Sanders. We can draft Travis Hunter. Let's tell our guys who are battling, and that's usually the most common way. The guys who are going nicked up, don't even push through it, brother. Let's just ease you up. We want to keep you healthy. And they don't tell you we're taking. They say it in a politically correct way to lie to you, to make you feel like we're going to just take it slow because we're looking at the future now, right? Similar to how, Denver did it last year with Russ. Russ was playing relatively well in Denver. And then he has a bonus in his contract that says if he gets hurt, they have to pay him his fully guaranteed deal. You're like, you're likely to get hurt. Like the likeliness of you getting hurt is high. Let's just sit you. So now we can cut you without paying you, which is why that was a big deal last year. So the coaches and players don't tank. The front offices do because they want to position themselves for the next 10, 15 years.
Well, tank everything then. If you want to position yourself for the next 5 to 10 years, so what you do is say, Nick Chubb, you're done. Take these next 7 weeks to fully recover, and then we're gonna let you go at the end of the season. Sign with another team. David DeJungle, we're gonna trade you, get some assets back. Watson, you're done. Jameis, you can play if you want, but like we're gonna tank, right? You have a few quarterbacks coming out this draft, so I don't even think. It's at a point where the fans wouldn't even be upset right now if you were tanking, if they knew you had a chance.
Nope.
You might have the worst record. They might end up having them, and the Panthers might end up having the worst record in the National Football League right now. So they're probably going to get top 1, 2, 3 picks, and you can get a quarterback and restart it up. So like I said, the fans wouldn't even be upset. You can go out in a newspaper and state, we are tanking starting this Sunday. Clean house. No, that's what you got to do. Clean house, man. Remove the stench from the organization. Hire the right people. Maybe call Bill Belichick. Maybe call Mike Vrabel. Get the right people in there. It's been enough losing, enough drama, not drafting the right players. Time to move on.
And they've kind of shown the willingness to tank. Like they traded Amari Cooper immediately. Like he's gone. He's out of there. I'm hearing reports that Myles Garrett might be available for the right price. Like I don't think they're shopping him, but it's like if you call us with something crazy, we ain't gonna tell you no because he's been there forever. They haven't won anything. It's time like you said. It's time for a hard reset. It's time. I like the coach. I think the coach is the coach. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Myles is gonna get you a first rounder. Myles Garrett?
Multiple.
Listen, the Jets should
He'll
be
get
calling
you a
right
first
now.
in probably 2 seconds.
Hey, Reddick just got back. The Jets should be on the phone. What do y'all want for Myles? We need a pass rush.
I mean, the Jets can't make any more moves. That would be that would be insane. These dudes would have no draft picks for the next 5 years. Like it's insane. But like you said, if you're all in for real though, like go all in. If you're all in, see, Myles is the guy I understand you go get because Myles could turn a game around. He could turn a season around on that defensive line single-handedly, as opposed to a receiver who's not necessarily going to be capable of doing that because there's so much that has to go for that receiver to change the game. But for them to get Myles, they would have to trade Reddick. Reddick would have to be a part of the deal to go to Cleveland, and Reddick is only going to go to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to say, "Hey, let's rework a contract for next year." But Reddick also has to play a certain. That's the thing. Reddick is in a tough position, which I'm saying he heard the Jets. He's in a spot where if he doesn't play at least like 7 or 8 games, he technically didn't fulfill his contract this year. So now he has to do this all over again next year with the Jets. The Jets still have his rights, and if he doesn't play at all this year, it's like, okay, well now you're gonna sit 2 years and not get paid and not play. Now your value. What team's gonna pay you after missing 2 years? Like so. That's why they decided to work something out. But if Reddick goes somewhere else, he's going to want a new contract, I'm sure, which is why he's still on the Jets because other teams are like, we're not paying you a new contract. You haven't played all year. So, I think the Cleveland fans, like you said, Gene, I think they're open to it. They just want a hard reset. And I think it's time. Like, it's time. Deshaun is probably not going to play again in the NFL.
So who the quarterback do you think they're going to get coming out the draft?
Depends where they're picking. If they're, I think they would want any of those top guys. Shador is probably not going to be there, unless they continue to suck this bad. Shador won't be there. I think Quinn Ewers from Texas, I can see him in that system. Cam Ward, I think everyone's going to look at Cam Ward and be like, I think Cam Ward, Lamar Jackson is going to save Cam Ward's potential because how all these teams passed on Lamar because the way that, and I think Lamar was passed on, not even just his play, his appearance. Like Miami dudes, Florida dude.
Of course.
So a lot of that. And I don't know if you saw the interview with Cam Ward after the game. Like Cam Ward was on ESPN doing the interview. Yeah. His mans came up and was like, yo, good shit, my nigga. Like, it was just like, he's a regular Miami, he's a Florida cat, like regular dude. And I think a lot of teams, unfortunately, are going to be like, damn, do we want him as our franchise quarterback? But seeing how Lamar turned out, I think that's going to change.
The owner of the Panthers, one of the reasons he drafted Cam Newton is because Cam Newton didn't have braids. You can look this up.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's real, bro. It's real. So I think, again, teams who regretted passing on Lamar are going to be like, we can't do that. Like, do we want to – this is a business. Like, do we want to have a franchise quarterback for 15 years or do we want to pick a guy that looks clean – and he's going to get me fired in 3 years. Like, because you're going to get fired in 3 years. You picked the wrong quarterback top 3, you're out of there.
Yeah,
you're automatically out of there. GMs are not going for a bust quarterback because I don't trust you to pick the next guy, which is where you're going to be if your quarterback is a bust. So we'll see. The Bucs receivers last night, they're suffering a lot of injuries. Chris Godwin went down with a dislocated ankle. He's done for the year. Mike Evans will be down, it looks like, for about a month with a bad hammy. This is a team that looks like they can contend in the NFC.
Yes.
They stay afloat with these injuries that have happened. I have a theory that I'll share in a second, but I'll pass it to you guys. How do they stay afloat? Do they got to go and get a guy, Deontay Johnson, who's in Carolina, almost begging to get traded? Do they go and, look at Cortland Sutton in Denver, who, as I'm hearing, is a trade candidate? How do they stay afloat so that this doesn't completely go off the rails?
Like you said, I think they got to, like you said, they think they got to swing a trade just because, like, that division is still up for grabs. It's either them or the Falcons.
Facts.
It's them or the Falcons. So I feel like in Baker Mayfield, he been playing decent football lately. So I feel like if you get him somebody that could get open, that can catch the ball, it's just gonna keep the team afloat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Keep the team going there.
I mean, do you think they're 4-3 right now? It all depends if they
4-3.
think they can actually make a push to the playoffs. If you feel like this team is ready to make that push, then I say go out. I'd probably ask the Jets if they're willing to give up Mike Williams or Alan Lazard. I mean, Lazard probably is not going to go anywhere
Lazard's
because
not going anywhere for
but Mike
obvious
Williams.
reasons.
But even today, they're throwing out reports that Cooper Kupp from the Rams might be available as well. So there are some few pieces available for them to go out and get. And Mike Williams will be back in 2 weeks. Hamstrings are usually tricky. But again, is where you at?
You mean Mike Evans?
Right? Oh, Mike Evans, yeah. Well, where you at right now in the season? And do you think that you can actually make a playoff push? You know, I mean, they're 4-3.
Yeah, you're right. They're 4-3, and they're tied for first. And the hope, like Duece said, is that the NFC South is just them in Atlanta. Like the Saints are just about to go off the rails with all these injuries they have. The Panthers are an automatic win for other teams. Yeah. So it's really them and the Falcons. Like
that's what I said. They got to get it right. They got to get it right. It ain't like they can. I look at like you said, they just gotta go look to see what receivers is out there that's not really too happy with, like everybody say, they target right now, their production level. Every receiver needs 15 targets, I guess. Go in there and be like, yo, who's trying to get some targets? We need you guys.
Yeah, I think Deontay is the most logical and the most seamless fit to go there, because the Panthers they're not going anywhere. They'd be happy to give up Deontay, who's going to walk here anyway, to just get an asset for him, because he's not going to re-sign in Carolina. They're not going to pay him big money.
So and now what's it called looks good. The Bills, how they got Amari Cooper fast.
Cooper, absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good pickup.
I was telling everyone for weeks, the guy y'all need to forget Devontae Adams. The guy y'all need to go get who's not going to be begging for all these targets, who's not going to be a big attention, but gets Amari Cooper. He runs good routes. He gets open. He catches the ball, and he just does everything you want a solid, good receiver to do.
A professional receiver.
A professional receiver without being on a headline every week. Like this guy.
Without being a diva.
Without being a diva. So I thought the Jets would have been, if they wanted a guy, they should have gone after him, because he takes everything underneath to open things up top. And I thought the Cowboys, Brandon Cooks is out for a foreseeable future. He's been in that system already. He knows that system, and he's balled out in Dallas already. So it's not like America's team is too much pressure for him. They should have went and got him, but they let the most perfect team, the Buffalo Bills, now have a legitimate number one that they can go to kind of help Keon. Keon Coleman had his best game as a pro last week. It's not a coincidence.
Exactly.
So it's now that young receiver room just got you got a vet there who knows how to play the game and not, demand too much. Cooper had a touchdown he had 5 targets. All of them were caught for 68 yards. That is an efficient game from a guy who could be a number one, but is not begging to be a number one. So
he just got into the offense.
Bro, barely knew the plays. It was literally finding out the plays on the field and still
scored a touchdown pass.
Come on. So I can't believe teams whiffed on that. I thought, again, the Steelers could have used them. I thought the Cowboys could have used them. And I thought the Jets, I didn't think the Jets needed receivers, but if they were going to go for one, you didn't need to go get another guy who demands 10-plus targets. And if he doesn't do it now, all the attention. If the Jets don't realize, if the Devontae Adams and Rodgers thing does not work this year, they're going to be dragged. It has to be beautiful. If it's not beautiful, it's going to be like, yo, we really just let this dude come in here and run our team. We really let him come here and run our team, giving up assets for a guy we don't need. And again, that's why teams, once they saw that, as I said was going to happen, teams, yo, what up with Garrett Wilson, though? I know he can't be happy. I don't care what he's saying. There's no way he's happy. Ain't no way receivers is happy. Another number one coming here to take his food. You crazy? Are you crazy? Crazy, yo. So I think my theory is there's a guy right now in Miami who is not getting any love. He's been around his block with Baker, and I've said this already. When Baker was coming out the draft, that year, Sam Darnold draft, Saquon Barkley draft, Odell and I talked, and I said, this is when he was on the Giants, and the Giants were almost certainly going to take a quarterback. I said, Odell, which one of these guys do you want the Giants to draft? He said, Baker Mayfield. I said, why? Why not Sam Darnold? He was like, I've thrown with Sam Darnold before. I'm not familiar with Baker, but his swag is the way he's a dog. Like, he's a dog at quarterback. He extends plays. He's not afraid to thread the needle and gunsling it. That's what I want as a receiver who's looking to have explosive plays down the field. The Giants obviously couldn't draft Baker. He went number one. They took Saquon Barkley. But that's the guy he liked. I know he went to Cleveland, and that didn't work out for a multitude of reasons. Run it back. We're all Odell has gone on to win a Super Bowl. Baker has gone on to find his groove back as a starting QB in this league, a legitimate starting QB. They're at different points in their careers right now. You need a receiver. Odell's not going to cost much. It might not cost you a draft pick. Run it back. No. Free my guy. I can't take the dog. Like, I can't see it no more. I can't see two targets anymore, Duece.
It didn't end well for them, bro. It didn't end well for them. Like, remember, it was all that controversy.
Yeah, but they made up. They made up, though. Yeah, they made up. They're cool now. Okay. They squashed the. It's public. They squashed the beef. They talked. They even did it like publicly on camera earlier this year when the Dolphins played the Bucs. They figured it out. They're at a good place, and it was never personal. Dudes were frustrated because their livelihoods were at. Odell felt like, this is my food. Like, and coming off these injuries, he was trying to get paid, which is why that whole free agency period after he got caught ended up choosing the Rams. They're at a different place in their lives, and I feel like there's a real need for each other. Honestly, I feel like Odell needs a quarterback who's not afraid to sling it. And I feel like Baker, with these guys going down for at least a month with Evans and at least the rest of the year, you're going to rely on Sterling Shepard the rest of the way, even if it's like not to be your number one. I want it. I'm being selfish. I'm not going to lie to you. I want it. I want my guy freed. I want to see him at least play. Like, he's not getting any burn in Miami. They're saying, I'm hearing reporters say there's a lot going on with Odell mentally and like where he is, just the way he's talking to reporters. He doesn't seem like he's interested in football right now. I don't know how true that is, but free my guy, put him back with Baker. Let's change the narrative and let's go win some games until Evans comes back and let Odell go win another Super Bowl. I was just playing. All right. Now, but I would love to see that.
Load up the next. My joint's about to die, bro. Right. Load up the next topic.
All right. So we're gonna skip that just so we can get to it. All right. Saquon Barkley went back to MetLife Stadium and put on $178 yards on like 18 carries, and some touchdowns. Now, the controversy all offseason was, did the Giants do the right thing letting him go? Now, in retrospect, Duece, do you think the Giants should have paid Saquon Barkley to keep him, or was it just time to move on for both parties?
No, Saquon deserved his money. It's not that I don't. My thing is with the players is, all right, once your contract is up, then you could start demanding all your money.
Okay.
But until, they did Saquon wrong. I don't know what they thought was going to happen. It's like you're going to let a top back just say, all right, you're going to let your girl, just going to let your girl be like, yo, go to the club, see what you want, see if someone like you, and there's no then you come back to me. Knowing you got a joint, knowing you got you a bad joint, and you're just gonna tell her to go somewhere. And you got Saquon, one of the top backs in the league, and going to say, yeah, go see what you could get. And then what you expect? He going to get what he could get. Yeah. And so, the Giants fumbled that. Big. They just thought, they really thought, they thought they was going off those analytics saying people ain't paying the running backs no more. Mm-hmm. But if you need a running back and there's a good running back out there, he's going to get that money. And I don't blame, like Saquon said, it's not like any bad feelings. That's really just what you call a fumble.
Right.
That's just what they did. They messed it up big time.
Bro, they didn't win with Saquon, so what did they lose out on, bro? It's like
6 years.
I understand it, like, running back is a position where, like, it's not as valued as it once was 10, 15 years ago. Not saying that they're not important, because look at the importance that he's brought to this Philly team, and he's been their best player, and he's the reason why they're winning. But for that particular franchise, the Giants, they weren't going to be a better team with him. So at this point, you have to cut your losses. He's only getting older. He's coming off 2 injuries. The Giants right now, as it stands, they're not a contender. Philly's semi-contender, not really though, but they're at least better than the Giants. And then on top of
They're
that,
only semi-contending
you got
with Saquon.
you got bigger fishes to fry at the quarterback position with the Giants. We don't care about the running back. You can draft another running back, figure out the quarterback situation, and that's how you get right.
That's why I think people mistaken. They think these running backs are they're you could get running backs and like y'all there's so many in the draft and everything, but not good running backs. You get what I'm saying? It's the difference between just going and grabbing any type of running back, but Saquon was a good running back. It ain't like
Saquon's a great running back.
You get what I'm saying?
But you don't need him to win a Super Bowl. The last few teams that's won it didn't have Saquon.
That's right.
It's really, the best running back the last few years in the NFL has been Christian McCaffrey. He has 0 Super Bowls on a great team, arguably the best team.
Pacheco's so it's like decent. He ain't great.
Pacheco, he's decent. And that's the formula right there. You got to win, and that's why I keep stressing Garrett Wilson's contracts. You got to win with these guys before they get the bag, because once they do, it limits how you build your roster now. So the Chiefs are capitalizing off Pacheco before he starts demanding $18 million a year, because once he does, now you got to let your left tackle walk. Now you got to let your right guard walk. And now all that is going to come back on the quarterback. You're going to lose your deep. They already started losing guys last year. The cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks in the league, Snead. L'Jarius Snead left for the Tennessee Titans because you can't pay everybody. So you got to win with them early before you got to give them a bag, because once you give them a bag, your roster construction now starts to take a hit. My thing is Saquon spent 6 years in New York, and I've been the biggest advocate. I think Saquon is the best pound for pound. He's the most gifted, talented running back in the league. But the Giants have one playoff appearance with the most talented back, in my opinion, in the league, and one playoff win. That is not good. So for the Giants, it was bad value. For the Eagles, for a team like, the Ravens, I thought you think Saquon, the Ravens are good with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That offense would have probably scored 40 a game with Saquon, the way he catches out the backfield. Because
catches out the backfield, yes.
The way Ravens use Henry, a lot of those, passing downs is Justice Hill's.
Yeah, Justice Hill's
not coming off the field on passing downs because he's a complete back, all facets. So that team, those are where he has the value. A team who's ready to win, but a team that is like McCaffrey on the Panthers. What was the point? Yeah. He was getting all these yards, and they were picking number 1 every year. It didn't make any sense. Yep. So it's like Saquon's a great player. I'm happy he got his money. I think, again, the misguided part, the part that people are leaving out, and Gene kind of talked about this, is the Giants didn't make a mistake not paying Saquon. They made a mistake paying Daniel Jones. And I think that's what people are misguiding. They just don't know how to really connect the two. Because essentially, once you paid Jones, Saquon couldn't get paid what he wanted to, because it's bad business to have a bad quarterback and a great back. You don't win in the league with a bad quarterback and a great back. Now, if you had a great quarterback on a great team, the Giants would be stupid to let Saquon walk, because he's a player that can shift the game. Like, we've seen Saquon shift games for the Eagles. He's single-handedly won in the Saints game. And even last week, like, before he got going, the game was 0-0 until Saquon run, and then the whole game changed. Like, so I think it's misguided. The problem is the Giants made the mistake with Daniel Jones. They can't make that mistake again. They have to know this guy. Everyone knows it right now. I think they know it too. He's not our quarterback. Let's go find a quarterback and let's build a roster from there. But the Giants have the foundation. They have good young players on the team. They just need the QB. You can't win in the NFL without the QB. You just can't. Nope. It's not going to happen. All right. We're going to close it out. Your boy Tua, man. Tua said "Till death do us part." What's your reaction to that? What's your reaction to Tua coming back to playing and saying, "Y'all can shut the hell up because I'm going to play ball"? That's what I do.
We knew that was going to happen.
We knew it.
We knew it. It's just that nobody wants to see it, but like he said, this is the game I love. He just shouldn't have said it. Like he probably looking back, so I should have never said it that's how I said it. He's just like, yo, you bugging for saying it like that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what do you say? This is the death
said,
of me.
I love this game. To death do us part. Like, I love it to the death of me. To the death of me.
Yeah, I love this game.
Literally, you really might die, bro. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and it's like, and it just tell you like these guys they really love the game, like you know what I mean. So it's like you just gotta pray for him. Hopefully that he just continue,
Yeah.
continue the season,
Same.
continue his
Man,
career.
let me tell you something, bro. If I suffered all these concussions and I woke up one day and I logged into my Chase account and I saw 153 mil, I'm gonna be like, do I want to get my brain splattered again today? What was crazy about this whole situation, and we're talking about his whole concussion history, right? The last concussion that he suffered was like the softest hit. It's not like he got blindsided and got destroyed.
He hit the person.
And he ran
Like
into
not the
Damar
other way
Hamlin's
around.
bicep, bro. It's not like he got
Right.
killed running through the middle. So if your
Right.
body reacts to a simple hit like that, what happens
Yeah.
when somebody really cracks you, right?
Yeah.
Man, listen, man, it's some
So you don't
psychology
think that
behind
the
this.
NFL should have like stepped in for him though and told him like he's good?
How?
How
We
can
can't.
you? They don't have the
No,
It's,
I'm
information
saying you
to
don't
do
think
that.
going forward now, like, are you think like behind the scenes the NFL
They
and
they
the people
can't.
are they coming up with like rules like for situations like this?
It takes one doctor to say that he's medically cleared to play. Once he gets that clearance, there is no law
No, I'm saying
stating.
like, all right, we all seen Tua
I like where
like
you're going with this.
freeze up on the field like twice.
Yeah.
You think
3
like,
times in the last 2 years.
yeah, all right, like three, like when is the limit? Or they
And,
just gonna, you
and
get them
that's what
like
I
when
like
is
what you're saying.
the
I think
NFL is gonna be like, nah, we don't care. Like we know
They
you love the game or something, but we
they
not about
can't
to
do
have
it.
this on our hand.
They can't do it. What the coach, the only way that would happen, the coaches would have to be like, we don't feel like he's ready to go,
yeah.
right? Because
But then
if
again, if
they,
it's cleared by a
that's what
doctor,
I'm
an
saying.
independent doctor, which he went to look for, he can literally sue the team by saying they're
No,
not
but
letting me play
but
and
the
I'm
team
cleared to
gets
play.
also, but the way the team gets out of it is saying based off performance, we just feel like the other quarterback gives us a better chance of winning.
Oh,
You
you
can't,
would bench him, but it would be the most
yeah.
obvious benching
That's what I'm
ever.
saying. So if you're trying
Yeah,
to save your ass, that's the way that you're gonna have to do it. But just on how labor laws are structured, even with the NFL being its own entity, they can't say,
Players Association, right?
yeah, they can't say like, yo, you've suffered 4 injuries. Yo, half the NFL, these guys probably have so many concussions that we don't know about. Half the NFL
Absolutely,
players will be out of a job, you know. But I just think it's
that's
something
true.
in the
That's true.
makeup of these players, bro. And going back to that ego word, it's his ego talking right now, right? Because I think, and I truly believe this, he was embarrassed of how he got concussed, right? And he feels like, okay, I'm this football player. I'm supposed to be this tough guy. If I go out, I want to go out with my
Yeah,
sword. I don't want to go out concussed the way I did. So I'm coming back death to us part. But realistically, when you're seeing guys 20 years down the line and they need help going to the bathroom, that's when you're going to really sit back and think about it. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, bro. I mean, even some of the guys that we grew up watching, I see a lot of them now, and they don't look. Them dudes don't look right. Like, and that was the era of dudes, literally like Rams, like going to try to
yeah,
kill each other. Like, not even the way the league is soft now, where everybody's like, you get a little hit, and it's like, oh my god, how dare you? These dudes were in the era of dudes like being warriors. And I'm seeing, like, again, I'm seeing Ed Reed, not even to bring his name. I'm just seeing a lot of guys talking. They're like, we built for this, bro. Like we football players, we'll literally die on this field, and proudly, like. And I'm like, yo, it's at the end of the day when it goes left, everybody's like, yo, it's just a game. Like it's just a game. It's just a game. You can't treat us like this because we're just playing a game. We're humans. Now, when people are over sentimental about the human aspect of it, of you not, having long term brain damage, now you're like, yo, mind your business. Like I'm gonna play this game until I can't no more. So it's like,
Again, but look, but I can see where a young player, if you're taking a young player who's in the same situation and they haven't made a fraction of what Tua made, I can see why they're like, yo, I got to get this bread because this is what I have to fall back on. But again, Tua, I'm not his accountant, but I know he's, several hundred millions up right now.
he
So at
was on
what
his second
point,
contract. He's
that's
on
what
his
I'm
second
saying. So
contract. He was a top 5 pick. It's like,
at what point do you feel like enough's enough? Because at the end of the
it,
day, it ain't worth it.
and what I've said is, like, if Tua decided to walk right now, he would have a job coaching tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
without a doubt, the Dolphins would be like, okay, we want you to be our quarterback coach, or we want to put you on our
Alabama too.
without anywhere. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the coach in Miami loves him that much, and you can tell he really cares about Tua. He would absolutely give Tua. Like, and Tua's a smart dude. Like, you play for Nick Saban. Like, you got to have some intellectual,
Yeah, you know the
intelligence.
game of football.
Right, you know the game of football, especially at the quarterback position where you won championships at that institution. So I think Tua knows this opportunity. I think it's what you said, Gene. It's his ego. Like, I want to go out on my terms, not somebody taking me out the game. I just hope it's not too late when it decides to happen. When he decides for it to happen, I hope it's like, all right, I thought about this, because it is kind of embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, to get hit and then be out and then essentially end your career. Maybe Tua finishes the year and thinks about it over the offseason. Maybe
Yeah,
I think that's a real possibility. Like, it's less like you let somebody take you out, but you like walking off on your own 2 feet, right? It's kind of like when these players get hurt and the card's coming out, they're like, nah, I want to walk off the field. Like, at least I have that honor. I want that lasting image of me to be of me, choosing to walk, as opposed to the game, choosing for me to be left from it.
But
So
even I forgot who said it. Even when you do leave on your own terms, it's something that you lose, right? Perfect example of
absolutely.
that. Look at a dude like Tom Brady. He didn't leave. He left the highest of highs, right? Never sustained no crazy injury. But then look at the family structure. He lost that.
Absolutely.
So pick your
Yeah.
poison. You feel me?
It's definitely, yeah. It's the
So
double-edged sword. You got to pick which one. It's a big sacrifice, and you got to find it if it's worth it. That's essentially, at the end of the day, is whatever you're going to lose, and that worth it. Because as we talked about in the chat earlier, the way Tua came off in that response, you can tell a lot of people have been telling him, not just media. You could tell a lot of people around him been saying, "Yo,
Yeah.
I don't know, big dog," and just the way he snapped was just
Yeah, you
very,
can tell, like you said, the way he said it is like, I'm tired of what y'all talking about.
yeah.
Like, this is
Like,
it.
I'm a man, bro. Let me let me literally make my own choice and to die out here if that's what I have to be. At least I know I went on my own 2 feet. All right, that's our show.
All right.
Big games coming up this week. I can't wait to run it back next week to see what we're talking about.
Chill.
Go Lakers, go Dodgers. I'll holler at y'all.
Yankees are 6, baby.
Yeah,
Yankees are
right.
6.